इस वर्ष की थीम है आरोग्य के लिए योग या योग फॉर वेलनेस। और आज विश्व संगीत दिवस भी है। योग हमारे जीवन को संगीतमय बना सकता है। और ये और एक और विशेष बात आज है कि आज सूर्योदय से लेकर सूर्यास्त के बीच सबसे लंबा काल होता है। इसलिए आज का दिन वैसे भी जीवन में प्रसन्नता भरने वाला है और योग का उसमें बहुत बड़ा योगदान है। आज हम इस किंग जॉर्ज चिकित्सा विश्वविद्यालय के परिसर में कोरोना काल के प्रोटोकॉल को फॉलो करते हुए जूम मीटिंग पर इसका आयोजन कर रहे हैं। और योग सिर्फ व्यायाम नहीं, एक दर्शन है। इसी के साथ मैं किंग जॉर्ज चिकित्सा विश्वविद्यालय के कुलपति माननीय लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल डॉक्टर विपिन पुरी जी को उनके स्वागत भाषण के लिए आमंत्रित करूंगी। सर।
Good evening, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Professor Dalila, Professor Vibhas Singh, Professor Amita Pandey, Professor Vinod Jain, deans of various faculties, faculty of the university, students, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, let me welcome you all to this very unique, interactive session on understanding of the basics and scientific merits of yoga, chakras, and pranayama. I think it's a very holistic mix of the three, and I think it's really going to be a very fascinating discussion. Yoga, friends, ladies and gentlemen, as you're all aware, is a very ancient discipline designed to bring balance and health to our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual dimensions of, of an individual. Now, as you're all aware, Swami Vivekananda once said that all orthodox systems of Indian philosophy have one goal in view, and that is the liberation of the soul through perfection. The method for all of this is yoga, and I think that perhaps is the essence of what we are trying to learn today, trying to assimilate today, and try to work out today. Pranayam is the yogic science of using the breath for health of the body and mind. It's an amazing art, and if one masters this art, I think it takes you to a different level of well-being. So yoga, pranayam reduce stress and anxiety. As they say, it also improves on your autonomic and your higher neural centers, the functioning of all of that. As many studies which have proven with corroborative data, they tend to improve physical health of even of cancer patients. So now that's something very, very exciting. I think a lot of studies have gone into all of this, and I think there is some very, very exciting data to substantiate what I'm saying. The other thing which I was very fascinated when Professor Dedera was talking about this, chakras are said to correspond to the nerve centers and major organs in the body. And each of these so-called 7 chakras are said to correlate with different abilities, expressions, and different types of health issues. And I think that's really to try and understand what these chakras mean, how they can, how can you actually handle these chakras to your advantage. I think we really look forward to Professor Dalila telling us something more about this very, very fascinating science, art, as well as a science. So friends, ladies and gentlemen, as the world celebrates International Day of Yoga, today we at the King George Medical University highlight the immense potential of yoga, chakras, and pranayama, a holistic mix of the three to enhance our physical, psychological, and emotional well-being of each for each one of us. So once we understand the basics, I think we will be able to imbibe the practices in a much better way. And I believe that a wider dissemination of knowledge about the benefits of practicing yoga would be indeed be extremely beneficial for all of us. I once again congratulate the whole team of of distinguished faculty, especially Professor Delela, for organizing this very fascinating event on such a landmark day. Once again, thank you very much for giving me this platform to speak to you all, and I wish you the very best good health in the coming years. Thank you and Jai Hind.
थैंक यू सर, आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आपकी इतनी ज्ञानवर्धक बातें सुनने के पश्चात हम सब लोग लाभान्वित हुए होंगे। आज पूरा विश्व कोरोना से जूझ रहा है। सब लोग मानसिक, शारीरिक और आर्थिक व्यथा से जूझ रहे हैं। तो योग ही एकमात्र रास्ता है जो हमको इससे उबारने में मदद कर सकता है। कार्यक्रम को आगे बढ़ाते हुए मैं अपने प्रतिकुलपति प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर विनीत शर्मा सर को आमंत्रित करूंगी कि वो अपने विचारों से हम लोगों को अवगत कराएं। सर।
Thank you, Dr. Vibha. Respected Honorable Vice Chancellor, Lieutenant General Vipin Puri ji, Deans of various faculty of the medical sciences, our moderators, Dr. Divakar Dallela, faculty, ladies and gentlemen, and students. It gives me immense pleasure to be a part of this Yoga for Wellness being organized by Dr. Divakar Dallela, and the topic of discussion for today, which has been organized by Dr. Divakar Dallela and his team. The topic today will give us the understanding of the scientific basis of the three combined yoga, chakra, and pranayama, and we'll be able to put it into practice of our day-to-day life. It will help us to make our mind and body healthy and make us disease-free, leading to a disease-free society with happiness all around. I congratulate you all once again. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू सर। योग एक आध्यात्मिक प्रक्रिया है जिसमें शरीर, मन और आत्मा एक साथ जुड़ जाते हैं। भागवत गीता के अनुसार सिद्ध्या सिद्धियो समूह भूत्वा समत योग्य उच्यते, अर्थात सुख दुख, हानि लाभ, शत्रु मित्र सर्वत्र में समभाव रखना ही योग है। विष्णु पुराण के अनुसार योग संयोग इत्युक्त जीवात्मा परमात्मा, अर्थात जीवात्मा एवं परमात्मा का पूर्ण मिलन ही योग है। पतंजलि के योग दर्शन में योगश्चित्त वृत्ति निरोधा, अर्थात चित्त की वृत्तियों का निरोध ही योग है। और वेद व्यास के अनुसार योग समाधि है। आज के इस कार्यक्रम के प्रमुख वक्ता डॉक्टर दिवाकर दलेला सर को मैं आमंत्रित करती हूं, जिनके व्याख्यान का शीर्षक है अंडरस्टैंडिंग द बेसिक एंड साइंटिफिक ऑफ द योग चक्रा एंड प्राणायाम। वैसे तो डॉक्टर दलेला को परिचय की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है, परंतु फिर भी मैं बताना चाहूंगी कि आप यूरोलॉजी विभाग में प्रोफेसर हैं और आप हमारे केजीएमसी के एलुमनाई हैं। आपने 1979 में एमबीबीएस, 1986 में एमएस एंड 1990 में एमसीएच की डिग्री प्राप्त की। इन्होंने 32 पुस्तकें लिखी हैं जो कि रोगियों की जागरूकता और छात्रों के ज्ञान के लिए हैं। इन्होंने 24 पैम्फलेट्स प्रकाशित किए हैं जो कि जागरूकता फैलाने के लिए हैं। आपने 142 रिसर्च पेपर प्रकाशित किए हैं। आपने 19 तकनीकों एवं एक यूरोलॉजिकल बीमारी का इनोवेशन भी किया है। आपको 20 गोल्ड मेडल, 26 सिल्वर मेडल और 2 यूरोलॉजिकल अवार्ड से सम्मानित किया गया है। आपके 134 वीडियो यूट्यूब पर अवेलेबल हैं जो कि छात्रों, चिकित्सकों और रोगियों की जागरूकता और ज्ञान बढ़ाने के लिए हैं। अब मैं डॉक्टर दलेला सर पतंजलि अष्टांग योग के बारे में हमारा ज्ञानवर्धन करेंगे। सर।
Thank you, Vibha, for nice introduction. Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, and Pro Vice Chancellor, sir, and my team members on the program today. I hope I'm audible clearly.
Yes, you are.
Yes, yes.
Just give me a second, I'll share the. Am my screen visible to you?
Yes.
My screen visible to you? Okay. So thank you for giving me this opportunity, Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir. And I'll be speaking to you on this topic, the correct name of which is yoga. It is often pronounced as yoga, but henceforth I will call it yoga. I'll be speaking to you in basic English and Hindi as and when need arises. The first International Yoga Day was celebrated on June 21st in 2015 in Delhi. And this was the brainchild of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. It went on every year. In the year 2017, this is organized in Lucknow. And my faculty members will remember, we worked very hard to take part in this event. We trained 900 people from our university to attend this mega event. Incidentally, it all rained that day. And you can see Prime Ministers are also doing yoga in rains. So ever since I got inclined into this topic, and I've been reading and meeting people and talking about this. What is yoga, first of all? Now let me correct here that yoga is just not an exercise. It is also not just a self-help tool for your greater mental and physical efficiency. It is, in fact, a wholesome science which takes you step by step and stage by stage from known to unknown. And like any science, the basis of science is experiment. If you do the experiment the way it has been described in science, you will get the same result every time, all the time. This is the fundamental of science. So yoga science also urges us to experiment every step, every stage, and just don't believe because everybody else is saying it will benefit you. We have more often than not needed some other person around us to act as a key to open up what is already within us. We need a teacher, we need a mentor, we need our parents, we need our friends, and so many people to do this. But can we make our engine a self-start rather than a push start? Why do you need a push? And this concept of yoga, this yoga is what is needed for a self-start. And this concept was introduced by none other than Lord Shiva himself, who is known as Adi Yogi. And this was a pre-classical yoga described in Vedas, Rigi Vedas, 5,000-year-old. And after that, it was described in Upanishads. And these are the pictures given from that time, different postures which our yogis used to do. But then the first description which made yoga a classical science was by Maharshi Patanjali, which was 500 BC. So you can imagine it's more than 2,500-year-old science about which we are talking today. It has stood the test of science, test of time ever since. The post-classical yoga, ever since the Patanjali described it, people took it that it should be more into focusing onto the physical body. And if you use physical body, you will achieve enlightenment. And where this physical body and spiritual body were focused, this led to a concept of Hatha Yoga. And then we had many publications from yoga teachers in post-classical era. The modern yoga, as it is known as modern yoga, have been brought to us by Krishnamacharya ji, Iyengar, Patabi, Vikram, Vinasya, and so many many people. So currently we regard these as father of modern yoga. The ways of yoga are, if you look at our human body, the yogic science tells us that it comprises of 5 koshas, 5 layers. As you see a human body from outside, it is called as Annamaya Kosh, the physical body. The physical body is made of food. It's a heap of food, that's all. So the name Annamaya Kosh. Inside the Annamaya Kosh lies another body, which is called Pranmaya Kosh. This is the energy of our body which keeps us going all the time. Inside that lies another layer in our body, which is called Manomaya Kosh, which is the emotional body. Now, friends, these 3 components of our body are known to everybody. Mind, body, and soul, whatever you can call, the same thing. You can call it like a body is a physical body. Inside these 3 layers, which are physically palpable, physically understandable, there are 2 more layers which are not physically present, but they can be appreciated. This is a wisdom body, which is known as Vigyan Maya Kosh, which means you have a Vishesh Gyan and knowledge in you, wisdom in you, which is not palpable, but is there. And finally, inside you is a bliss body, which experiences Anand in whatever you do. That's called Anand Maya Kosh. So we have 5 layers in our body, which is a yogic science. If you see the first 3 parts, physical body, mental body, and energy body are physically visible. You can experience them actually, but knowledge body and bliss body are non-physical. What is the way to align these 3 dimensions of our life? The physical body, the mind, and the bliss body. There have been various ways. If you employ your physical body to align these 3 dimensions, mind, body, and soul, this is called yoga of action. And this is known as karma yoga. If you align your mental intelligence to achieve these objectives, this is called yoga of intelligence and known as Gyan Yoga. If you employ your energies of the body and they are transforming energies in your body, this is called Kriya Yoga. If you use your emotions to align your 3 dimensions, this is called Yoga of Devotion, and this is known as Bhakti Yoga. So friends, you can take these 4 routes to do this job, aligning mind, body, and soul. In yoga, one has to use all these 4 routes together. Somebody may do one route more, somebody may use one route less, but you have to use all these together. Maharishi Patanjali introduced to us a concept of Ashtanga Yoga, where there are 8 limbs, and you have to, like a radial wheel, go on from 1 to 8, one by one. So first was related to Yama. This means how you conduct yourself in the society, your external disciplines. How should you behave yourself in society? Next was a Niyam. This is how you discipline yourself. Then, so first you learn how to behave outside, then you learn how to control yourself properly. Then he described a series of postures, which are meditative seats, to upscale all these 3 alignments. Then he described use of pranayama. Now, as per him, they have to be used in this sequence only. After you learn breath control pranayama, comes another scale, which is called pratyahara. Before I explain to you pratyahara, let me explain to you this diagram. This diagram tells us that in our body, you have outside, we receive everything through indriya. This is sense organs, Gyanindriya, and Karmindriya, through which we work. So we are connected to outside world through our indriyas. When we receive information, it goes to our imagination, to intelligence, and to emotion. Now, when we have done Yam, Niyam, asan, pranayam, next stage is a stage when we should learn to shun all our external influences on us. We should learn to stop our all karma indris. We should sit quietly, and we should be able to shun inputs from all external indris. It is very easy to shun all external indris, friends, but ears are most difficult to close because any little noise will come inside and will disturb you mentally. So you should learn how can you control your indris, both karma indri, jnana indri, and then your body, instead of being directed outwards through indris, now directed inwards within you. And this is the meaning of pratyahar. Pratya means opposite. Pratyahar means nutrition. You give your body something opposite. Normally you give from outside. Now you start giving from inside. And this was, when you do this, you are into the realm of the thought process. So this is pratyahara by Ashtanga Yoga. Then you go to dharma, dharana, concentration. Then you learn how to do dhyan. I'll tell you about this shortly. And finally, you go to samadhi. So these are 8 components of Ashtanga Yoga, which Maharishi Patanjali introduced to us.
Sir?
Just one second. Yeah, let me come to the point. The yama, niyama, and asana and pranayama, these 4 components are known as Bahirang Yoga because they relate to your outside world. Pratyahara is in between. And then remaining 3 are called as dhyan, dharana, and samadhi are related to your internal world, and they are called as antarang yoga. So pratyahara joins bahirang yoga and antarang yoga. Yam comprises of these 5 components: ahimsa, satya, astriya means don't steal, brahmacharya means not in relation to sexual activity, it is in reference to the moderation in all things in our life. And then apriyagraha, that means don't try to possess too many things. So these are 5 principles in yama, and these are 5 principles in niyam. These are related to self-control. Purify your body, have contentment in your life, adopt austerity, do swadhyay, study sacred books so that you become more knowledgeable day by day, and believe in the existence of Ishwar. So yam, niyam, and then you move to asanas. Dr. Vibha was interrupting me, so I have a question. Yeah. Dr. Vibha, please.
सर, मैं आपसे कुछ प्रश्न पूछना चाहूंगी। सर, आजकल आपने देखा होगा कि लोगों ने योग और व्यायाम को एक पर्याय मान लिया है। क्या ये सच है? योग क्या सिर्फ व्यायाम है या उससे ऊपर कुछ है, या योग को सिर्फ व्यायाम की तरह लोग अपने उपयोग में ला सकते हैं? इसके बारे में सर बताएं।
See, as I said, yoga is not only exercise. In the beginning, I said yoga is not exercise. Yoga is a science. You have to use it as step by step. Asanas are taken by people as exercise. Asanas are actually postures that we adopt in our schedule. And these are different names. You will see here that these asanas are named by things in nature, animals, plants, like that. This is so that when you adopt the posture, you are connected to that particular animal, like Bhujangasan, like Vajrasan, Shashankasan, Mandukasan. These are names of animals. So we make a posture of animal and then connect to that part in the nature.
Yes.
Asanas are often taken by people like this. Learn some exercise on some vacation, attend a camp where you are trained, some exercises like that, loud music playing, but this is not what asana is. If I were to clarify to you what asana is, asana has 2 first foremost components. You relax, activate, and regulate. In fact, 3 components in asana. Relax, regulate, activate. Activate what? You activate your musculoskeletal system, visceras, autonomic nervous system, and endocrinal system. Relax what? You relax your mind and brain completely, brain cells, and you regulate the breathing pattern. Now, all three have to be done in unison in asana. When you activate what and you achieve what? You achieve stability of position, balance in your position, you achieve flexibility, and you achieve stretch of your body tissues, right? And when you do this, all four, the brain is perceiving them. This is the very important part of asana. All the time when you are making a posture, the brain is perceiving the changes that are taking place in your body. You concentrate on your body part. What muscle is contracting? What tendon is stretching? What muscle is relaxing? What fascia is relaxing? And when you do this, the flexibility and stretch does what? It squeezes the tissues like you squeeze the wet towel. When you squeeze the wet towel, the tissues are squeezed, the interstitial fluid from the tissue is displaced. It goes into lymphatic flow, right? And when you relax the tissues, the lymphatic flow comes back. So the old rotten interstitial fluid, which was heavy in the excretory products from cellular metabolism, is cleansed away and replaced by fresh interstitial fluid. So you get good cellular perfusion by flexibility and stretch. And this leads to revitalization of the body. When you do stability and balance, why do you take a particular posture in Surya Namaskar? Why that Sanchalanasana has to be done that way only? This is because when you adopt that posture, the energy in your body flows in a particular direction, right? And Sadhguru once mentioned in his lecture that when you adopt a particular posture, your body geometry is in consonance with cosmic geometry. And you can directly imbibe energy from cosmos. Ordinarily, the physiology tells us that we are dependent on food for nutrition, dependent on food for energy, glucose metabolism, ATP, mitochondria, and so on and so forth. But our yogi used to draw energy from cosmos directly. They would spend hours and hours, stand in one posture and draw energy from cosmos. So this was cosmic energization. And when you are using your brain during the asana, thinking of the asana posture all the time, you get what is called mental decluttering. Your mind becomes clean and quiet. So this is the asana. This is asana, not just exercise. Asana means you do exercise, but you concentrate on part of the body and you regulate this with breathing. In every asana, you have to inhale and exhale at particular point of time, not do it randomly. One more part I want to tell, and this is pose and repose in asana. What is a repose in asana? When you do an asana and you reach to a position, you stay in that position for some time. It is very important that you stay in the position for some time. And at that time, you think about which muscle is contracting, which muscle is relaxing. Like this. You stay in that pose. And this is you are thinking about the muscles and tendons and bones. This is repose. Repose is the most important part of asanas. See, another asana. Similar, you will see the beauty of repose. Just don't hurriedly do exercise. Do it fast, do it fast. Hurried exercise is done in gym. Hurried exercise is not done in asana. Because if you do hurriedly, you cannot concentrate on the exercise. If you make any posture, like this posture known as Baddha Konasana, once you touch your forehead with the feet, you stay in the posture for some time. You stay and think what you have achieved. This is another kind of, and also see that in the postures you get stability, you learn balance, and you learn the science and the value of reposing. This is making a pose and staying in the pose is very important. So pose and repose is very important for the asana. Now this asana science is today known as Hatha Yoga. Hat word has come from Ha, which denotes sun, and Tha, which means moon. Hatha Yoga, it is just trying to balance the sun and moon in your life.
Yes. सर, मेरा एक क्वेश्चन और था.
Yes, yes.
सर, पहले हमारे पुरातन काल में हमारे ऋषियों ने बताया है कि योग एकांत में करना चाहिए, और अभी क्या है कि हर जिम में या फिर पार्कों में और लोग सामूहिक रूप से योग करते हैं. सर, इसके विषय में आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
You're absolutely right, Vibha, because I said that you have to shun all your external influences on your body. Then only you can concentrate on inside. So if you are having a lot of auditory inputs in form of song and loud music, and everybody around you is talking, how can you concentrate on your own self? So if you want to concentrate on your own self, stay quiet, stay in a place where you are alone, or at the best one more person, or maybe your instructor. No noise, no loud music. Just small meditation music, if you are fond of it, is fine. But don't go for too many things. The next part of Ashtanga Yoga is pranayam. I'll talk about this later. Pratyahara, I have already told, withdrawal. So pranayam, pratyahara, dharana. Dharana means if I were to tell you that you want to concentrate on Lord Shiva, for example, ध्यान, Lord Shiva पे ध्यान लगाना चाहते हैं, तो ध्यान में आने से पहले आपको उसको अपनी धारणा में लाना पड़ेगा. जैसे कि लॉर्ड शिवा क्या पहनते हैं, सिर पे चंद्र लगाए हैं, त्रिशूल है, गले में सांप है, शेर की खाल पे बैठे हैं, उनके बारे में हमें अपने दिमाग में धारणा में लाना है. जब उनकी धारणा में हम लाएंगे तभी वो हमारे आगे नेक्स्ट स्टेप पे जा सकते हैं, जिसको हम लोग कहते हैं ध्यान. ध्यान मीन्स you are concentrating about that particular individual in a profound manner, and then in dhyan one more part is very important, that you are in an absorptive meditation. In dharana you just thought about him. In dhyan you are receiving from him, right? Absorptive meditation, you are receiving. And finally word is samadhi, which is the ultimate part of Ashtanga Yoga, when you get very ecstatic about what all you have achieved. So yields from yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, it is the art of living. It is a science which revitalizes your full potential. It is a journey from body to mind and mind to soul. Friends, it's a time-honored science. I am speaking about this after 500 years, but it has been there ever since. It is, to my mind, is the only one single route to align your body, mind, and soul, and you can reach ultimate state of ecstatic union with the existence. It is said that if you work through your physical body, the impact will last for a little while. This man is doing manual labor. I'm not saying the building will not last which he made, but I'm saying the work he did will not be remembered by anybody. If you do work through your mental body, like teacher, the impact will last for many years. But if you work through your energy body, like Gautam Buddha did, the impact will last for centuries and probably forever. So this is the beauty of yoga. It makes a transition in you from physical body to mental body, and from mental body to energy body. And if you learn yoga right way, you can heighten your energy experiences and do it nicely. So thank you about this, Viva.
सर मैं कुछ प्रश्न और पूछना चाहूंगी.
Yes.
सर मैं कुछ प्रश्न और पूछना चाहूंगी.
Yes, please, sir.
सर, जैसे कोविड और पोस्ट कोविड काल में समाज के लिए योग का महत्व, और सर जैसे आजकल बहुत दिनों से स्कूल कॉलेजेस बंद हैं और बच्चे जो हैं वो घर में बंद हैं, जिससे कि बच्चों में एकाग्रता की भी कमी हो रही है और उनका वजन बढ़ना भी आजकल सामान्य बात हो गई है. इसके बारे में योग किस तरीके से सहायता कर सकता है, आप अगर बता पाएं इस पे कुछ प्रकाश डालें.
ऐसा नहीं है कि इसे कोई भी एज का व्यक्ति, कोई भी रिलीजन का व्यक्ति कभी भी कर सकता है. बस आपको खाना पेट में बहुत हैवी नहीं खाना चाहिए. बाकी आप किसी भी समय कहीं भी कैसी भी हालत में इसको कर सकते हैं, प्रोवाइडेड यू नो द 3 कंपोनेंट्स ऑफ दिस. तो ये हमें अपने बच्चों को सिखाना है, समझाना है कि इसमें धीरे धीरे उनका फेथ को डेवलप करना है. अभी बच्चों को इसमें फेथ नहीं है, उनका फेथ डेवलप होगा तो अपने आप से करेंगे और शायद जीवन में संतुलन करेंगे।
सर एक प्रश्न और था। आज सुबह मैंने पढ़ा कि योग और वैदिक मंत्रों के उच्चारण से CD4 काउंट्स एंड बी लिम्फोसाइट्स और बढ़ जाते हैं और कॉर्टिसोल जो स्ट्रेस हार्मोन्स होते हैं वो कम हो जाते हैं। सर इसके बारे में आप कुछ
देखिए विभा जी,
जानकारी
यू आर एब्सोल्युटली राइट. Yoga is a science and lots of physiologists have done biochemical physiological studies on this, and time and again they have proved it. So but for the shortage of time, I cannot go into that physiological part of what yoga does to our body, but it it has most profound influence on our autonomic nervous system, and that is what is fundamental for preservation of our health, right? So thank you for your question.
थैंक यू सर। मैं ये कहना चाहूंगी कि योग हमें उन चीजों को ठीक करना सिखाता है जिन्हें सहा नहीं जा सकता और उन चीजों को सहना सिखाता है जिसे ठीक नहीं किया जा सकता। ऐसा ये वेद के श्री अयंगर जी के अनुसार है।